best revenge. Heard they was sleeping again.
It's the blue of a promise that didn't survive. The pale autumn leaves when they give up the fight. A whisper in silver that drifts with the tide. A memory fading as day turns to night. It's the color of goodbye. Color of
YouTube. It's good to be back. Did you miss me? Crypto here with another banger. I still got it. Been a while. We got to get the dust off, cobwebs off, you know, reload. I did get a little bit of time to relax while I took the hiatus from YouTube for the month or so. But wasn't it wonderful? My last video about a month or so ago, calling the top, giving the top. My group knew that the top was in. Did you? It's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful ride. So I'm glad to be back. Even though I did take a little time away from the charts, a little time away from YouTube, I still was working. I have now updated info for the bot, which you can go to the website yourself if you want and take a look at it too. We'll show that later in the video. But this is going to be kind of a doom and gloom scenario video. I don't think we're quite done this dump, both in traditional market and in crypto. I think we're due for one more big leg down as a final hoorah. For the longest time, I had been calling 73K, and I'll show you that. I'll show you the receipts of that later in this video as well. I have it bookmarked in the Discord exactly where I said it. But you know, you call for levels and levels happen, but once levels are starting to take out, you know, 100K is taken out, then you look a little lower. Next level, 90K is taken out, you look a little lower. We're at the next level. We're at a really strong support zone. We're at a monthly S3 support zone, or at the time that we bounced off the 78 region, we're at a monthly support zone. That first bounce was end of February, and then we now are having somewhat of a bounce now. The monthly S3 did change. It's not the same level, but this is still a very important support level. We went a tad bit lower, 76,000, and then had a pretty nice bounce. I did take a scalp, but I haven't really found much, you know, really wanting to long. And we'll discuss that in this video. I do believe that we somewhat have a rally for the time being. Try to work our way back up to liquidity areas at the highs, and then look for further drop. So things changed pretty quick, you know. Beginning of January, we were on a bull run, bull run tear, bull run. I honestly do believe, though, that this 73K is a very important level for both it being still somewhat of a bull market, If you remember when we were around 50,000, 48K, we did have that massive drop, and then we bounced, and then we actually broke out of that range. So I want to feel like this is that same scenario, but in the back of my mind, we are breaking levels. Levels are being broken, and it just doesn't look good. Both in the same the sense that, you know, the stock market isn't doing well, crypto isn't doing well. The reports are starting to come out, and they're starting to look really good, which is weird. So, you know, you take it day by day, week by week, level by level, and you find, you know, a trade to take off that. That being, I still want to see 73K. You know, that is a big area for me. So, before we begin, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it, all the support and love. My last live trade video is at 11,000, I think, right now. Hold on, let me double check on my phone. See it 11,000 or 12,000, so I do appreciate it. Oh, 14,000. Nice. I really do appreciate all the support and love that everybody's given me, the likes, the comments. I hope you're finding your trading path and sticking to it. So with that, let's go ahead and switch over the charts to the bot stats. Now, I've already released this to everybody in the group, so everybody in the group's already seen this. I haven't added the end of February to March's stats yet. I'll do that eventually. Currently working on a Serenity update, really nice Serenity update. I got a lot of really cool features I'm adding to it, and also adding some cool features to help the bot trade better. But with how, you know, the first like little run with the PineScript code that I have for these indicators. Now, these are my 3 indicators. This is the Fusion set right here, right? Jux, Serenity, and Nexus. And off just with those indicators, I'm just using those indicators, we've taken 2,300 so trades. Our win rate is 75%. The average loss is about $24. Average daily profit, 7. Average win is $8. And then the average daily profit full range is $7. So, you know, traded days is based on days traded and collectively, right, out of all the days that we have here, where the average daily profit is based on a range of days traded. So it's just a little bit different, but they're practically, you know, practically the same. The highest single trade profit is 28. Lowest single trade profit loss is 46. I really like this right here. Longest win streak's 28. Longest loss streak is 8. So basically, I took every alert that fired, possibly every alert that fired on TradingView, and I compiled it into a database and compiled it as win, loss, profit. You know, how much profit did it take? How much did it not? And you know, for the first run through, it's not bad. I need to figure out why Teo has. Whoops. I need to figure out why I got so many Teo trades. That could be the reason for the down, you know, the down days. But $500, you know, the middle of February, couple months, you would have made 1,000. Your account would be up 1,500, right? So here's the equity curve. So perfect. I mean, that's awesome to see. I really want to clean up these right here, these drops right here, this drop right here, of course, and kind of give it more pull. Like maybe we extend the win, you know, how long it's winning, we extend that, the profit for it. So instead of seeing $28 profit, we're seeing 50, we're seeing 100, something like that. Bear with me, I'm a little rusty. I might fumble my words a little bit. You know, getting back into the routines of stuff is hard. You know, you go away from trading for a while and then you come back, and that routine kind of it's hard to get back into it, right? But I still have been pretty active in the group. I just, you know, took a little break from doing videos, and it was a nice break. It was good. So But yeah, I just kind of wanted to give a little bit of a rundown how this is looking, how this is going. I still have a lot more updates to do with indicators. I've told everybody in my group, once we get these 3 indicators updated, which is just taking me some time. Minescript is very, very difficult. I just wish it was JavaScript or C# or C++. I mean, C++ for me would be a little difficult, but C#, Node.js would be awesome, or JavaScript, whatever it may be. Pinescript is just, it's a beast. It's an animal. It just takes, I was telling somebody in the group today, it takes, 15 lines of code in Pinescript for something that could be done 2 to 4 lines in JavaScript or C#. So it's a bit more difficult. The coding's a bit more tedious, a lot more math and intensive as well. So, but if you're interested in like kind of just, keeping up with the bot, if you've seen a couple of my other videos and I discuss the bot, you kind of know a little bit about it and you want to know a little more info wise about it. This is great to see. We need to clean this up. Like I said, we need to clean this up a tad bit. I still don't know how Teo had so many trades. It had more trades than Bitcoin, which is crazy because normally Bitcoin's the one that moves the most. So, but yeah, it's got some work to do, but I can't, once it's ready to go, I really feel like it's gonna, hit a home run. It's gonna hit out of the park, it's getting there slowly. So, but yeah, before we begin, I'm not going to do any news. I kind of have a lot to give for, what I'm thinking with the traditional markets and what I'm thinking with Bitcoin. And I kind of want to go over that in depth, and I don't want to make this too long. Let me know in the comments if you'd like me going over the news and stuff and in my older videos, if you enjoyed me going over the news, or you just don't really care for that. I could cut that out too as well. The only real newsworthy summary, in a sense, is the tariffs that Trump is applying and putting on. It's just good to just make sure that you're watching that daily, keeping up with that. There's been a lot of volatility in the markets because nobody's really, certain what's going to happen. Are the tariffs going to be on? Tariffs not going to be on? Tariffs going to be on? Tariffs not going to be on? It's just a flip-flop. The PPI report was really great today. CPI report was pretty decent yesterday, so the reports are coming out pretty nice. Inflation's coming down, but is this like the calm before the storm? Like, are things going to get much worse? Who knows? We did have a blood moon today. The last time we had a blood moon, FTX crashed, and that was in 2023. So it's kind of crazy. You would think that there'd be another blood moon or something going on, but here we are. We're just doing dandy, right? Just doing fine. So before we get into the charts, though, I do want to go ahead and show this to my Discord group. Let me close out this part right here. So 95K looks good indeed. And I said I'm a little torn. I feel like we get down there. What's the odds of us not going further down? To range low. Ironically, we just swing failed pattern all-time high, almost perfect. So we have more hits of the low than high. So it makes me wonder, what are the odds we get further down to my buy zone at 73K? But for now, we cannot talk low if we don't lose 100K. So when I posted this, we were sitting at about 103,000. And I've discussed this area in a lot of my older videos too. I've been kind of looking for this area for a while. And the biggest thing is the weekly's looking so bad, was looking so bad. It's looking a bit better, and we'll discuss it in this video. But any opportunity of me getting anything of the highs, I'm looking for shorts. I'm playing shorts. It's on a weekly time frame. I'm playing shorts. It might take a little bit of time to play out, but I'm playing shorts. Weekly is, the judgment. It's the final call. So just because price has gone up 10,000, weekly's looking, dog doo-doo, there's a big possibility we're going back down. And I'm talking weekly looking bad as in Juxtapose. Juxtapose is the king. This is the best indicator possible. None of these can be beat. Serenity, Nexus, and Juxtapose. And I'm also coming up with a huge upgrade for all of them. They're going to be even better, even more powerful. And not only that, you know, 6 months later, I might get bored and I might update them again. I'm always updating these things. They haven't been updated in a while. It's been taking me a long time, but I'm updating them as much as I can. PineScript did come out with a V6. If you listened to a couple of my other videos, I've discussed that PineScript did release V6 recently, so better in performance. They also released a profile, like a indicator profile, PineScript profiler, so you can like kind of see how your code runs and how you can make your code faster. So I've been playing with that a tad bit, trying to update snippets of my code that makes it run a little bit faster. One thing though that I really need PineScript or PineScript TradingView, whatever, TradingView to do better is the value areas, value area lows, value area highs, PDPOCs, just volume signatures. I need that to be better. I need it to match up with XO better, and they're not matching up with XO at all. So I did just want to show this off. You know, this was, if you see the timestamp right there, 121.25. Now, you know, we could have flew right back up and went back up to the highs, and that's why I said, you know, once levels are taken out, that's when we start playing the lows, when we start going for the lows. So, and now here we are, right? So I do want to look, I'm going to look at, let's look at the dollar first. I really, you know, I want to get set. I always look at the dollar every day. I want to get set into what the dollar's doing and how I'm going to trade Bitcoin based on what the dollar is doing. So with further ado, it's good to be back. And let's drop into it, guys. All right, so on the weekly, it hasn't been looking that great. Got the high. I wouldn't mind seeing us get to the high again on that, but oh, the weekly's pointing down heavy for us. Looks terrible. Looks very bad. Not quite sure why I have this line here. I forget. It's probably an important reason for it. We'll leave it here for now. And maybe one day I'll remember why I put that line there. So the dollar looks pretty terrible, which is good news for Bitcoin. But as of recently, it's been kind of a struggle because as you see, the dollar's been going down. And at the same time, Bitcoin's been going down, which usually is reverse, right? The dollar goes down and Bitcoin goes up. Or if the dollar's going up, Bitcoin goes down. But now they're both going down. So it's kind of difficult to gauge Bitcoin more so within the last couple weeks now, I would say. But the dollar is sitting now at its monthly support level, monthly S3, which I told you earlier with Bitcoin, we did bounce from that area pretty aggressively, went up about 4 or 5K and then came back down. So in most cases, this area is a pretty important area, so I expect somewhat of a bounce from the dollar to commence. Now, how much of a bounce we get, we can look at the lower time frames to see, but the weekly is still pointing down. The weekly shows no signs of bullish momentum yet. We are starting to come down into the neutral zone, though, so this might be a perfect time for these lower time frames to kind of turn this up and give us somewhat of a bullish posture with the dollar, which won't help Bitcoin, but it will help our area that we're trying to get to, and that's 73K, right? So food for thought there. Let's look at the 12 hour, see how the 12 hour looks. 12 hours looking pretty good. This is looking kind of like a temporary bottom for me at the moment. 10 hours looking great. See 8 hours looking really good. Yeah, the dollar's looking pretty clean right now. I kind of want to see us, I'm not going to get too greedy with it. Let's roll down to, let's see the 2 hour. I always like the 2 hour. 2 hours is my favorite time frame. 2 hour, see, we're starting to come into this resistance zone right here. But I really would like to see it get kind of to, is this our weekly pivot? I think this is our weekly pivot. Yep, weekly P. Let's go ahead and say, you know, well, what, tomorrow's Friday. Ooh, and then we go into the weekend. I just don't see, I would say, you know, let's be safe and let's just say that we get the swing fail pattern right here on the dollar. And then possibly next week, once we get the new weekly P, which the weekly P will probably drop, we'll say about here or so. I'm thinking for the dollar, I think this is kind of a good area. Wow, I'm a little rusty, you know, drawing right now. So But overall, you know, there is a little bit of strength coming back to the dollar, which doesn't bode well for Bitcoin. But you know, sometimes you gotta take what you can get, and we see that the dollar is doing well right now. So knowing that the dollar is potentially going to come, you know, going to rise up, it's a good opportunity for us to possibly look for a good short position on Bitcoin, you know, have Bitcoin kind of get us a little rise going, and then look for a short position to take on Bitcoin for the near term for us to get to 73K, right? So a little bullish on the dollar, we'll say bullish. I'm going to go ahead and start typing these out a little bit. Let's do it on the 2 hour because we know how much I love the 2 hour. But I'm going to kind of type these out so when I do the next video, I kind of, you know, see where I was on the last video without having to go back and replay the video over again, and kind of see what, you know, what I said to what actually happens. I think is always good. You know, we'll never be 100% right. But we'll never be 100% wrong, right? I mean, eventually we'll be right. So let's go ahead and save this. We're going to say we're in a bullish posture for the dollar. I expect a bit higher for the dollar, and I think that's a good case scenario for the dollar. Now, I do want to say that, you know, once we're kind of finding some support here, and I'm not quite sure how long that's going to last, but I do want to give a doom scenario. I think we're due for a doom scenario, although the dollar's looking really good right now too, so I don't see it happening anytime soon. But I also have doom scenarios for traditional markets as well. And I've told everybody in my group, I said it about a month ago, 2 months ago. Here, let's look at it real quick. Let's see, 210. I said, hey, you know, somewhere we're waiting. Let's wait for a pullback about 10 to 15% in the stock market before we look to buy. You know, we're practically at all-time highs, and it's not a great time to buy, clearly. But now, you know, this was beginning of February, but now we're starting to transition where there are some things that actually do look good. We do have some very quality good stocks that are starting to show their face and starting to show their cards and look good. And not only that do they look good on the higher time frames, but the median time frames, they're starting to look good, but the weekly starting to line up perfect for them. Remember, all this, you know, banging from the bears coming down is really setting up Juxtapost, the weekly on Juxtapost, and really giving us some force. You know, like I said to my group, if you just took trades based on the weekly Juxtapost, you would make great money. And we're gonna look at that. We're gonna look at what percentage gains you would have made just trading Juxtapost on the weekly. Now, again, the weekly isn't you're gonna make money right off the bat. The weekly takes some time to, you know, form. It takes some time to become a reality. So there might be large price swings as that's happening. You know, the weekly was pointing down when we were at 100,000, 105, 110. That's a pretty large price swing right there. And then that's when you use other tools, you know, swing fail patterns, order blocks. You see other indicators showing there's some bearish pressure. You know, maybe on the day there was a bearish div, or maybe the 2 hour had a bearish div and you got in. There's been times I've taken trades on the 2 hour and it spanned out to those other time frames, and those other time frames started looking terrible, and I just held the 2 hour position I got into. You know, some case more when it's more volatile. You know, 2 hours definitely a go-to when it's very volatile. So but then not only that, I did say, you know, Pelotar, we want 60-80 zone, which if you saw Pelotar, I don't even know if I'm saying that right. I feel like I'm saying it right. Pelotar, Pelotier, Plantier, you know, I don't know. We were about 110, I guess. You know what? Let's look at the timestamp here. I posted this. 219. So let's go to 219 on this, which was 219. Oh, we had that large drop that day. So I guess what time did I post it at? And I kind of got about 5:04. Yeah, it was after the drop. Darn, I was getting excited. I thought I posted that at 10. You know, even though the low of that day was 110, I said I was looking for 110 at the time. We were looking for 60-80 zone. Well, we're at the 60-80 zone, but You know what? I'm being a little greedy. I want 60. I want 60 on Pelotar. Now, I'm not going to go into Pelotar. If you want me to, DM me. If you're in my group, DM me. We could do a private video. I could do a private video for everybody, and we could just look at some stocks. But I did say that once we do get one more big pullback, I need one more big pullback on traditional markets, and I'm going to be doing a video. It's going to be a private video, but it's going to be a video of stocks that I'm going to be investing in for the long run. Now, if you were with me in 2020, I called Pelotar under $10, and it's had a great ride. If you've seen some of my other videos, you saw I discussed that and talked about that. I did do a very risky trade. I bought Nikola at 30 to 40 cents. I did buy some more. My average entry is about 16, 17 cents now. I'm a little underwater on that, but that's okay. It's a risky trade. Nikola went under. They're filing Chapter 11, so it's a very risk-on trade. Reason I said risky, high-risk investment, blah, 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 blah. The chances of it going to zero are very high, but sometimes you have to take risks to make money. I didn't just say, hey, looking to buy this. I put these right in the way just to make sure. So, nonetheless, once we get that 15 to 25% pullback on the traditional markets, again, I'll be doing a video on that. So now, the doom gloom scenario for the dollar is what we're doing here. So, I really like to see, now, it's not going to happen. Clearly, it's not going to happen tomorrow. At least I hope not. Maybe we get some news tomorrow and it does happen. I don't know. It would be great for my stock buys that I want. But I really want to see us. I kind of just want the dollar to just get crushed and come back down to this buy zone right here. And we're going to go ahead and save this. And that's the long-term trajectory. Wow, I cannot say that today. That's the long-term price target I want for the dollar. Now, that would be a pretty bearish price target for the dollar, but it is the bottom of this range right here, and we have been ranging in this for what, 2 years, 3 years, almost 3 years. So it's crazy. Like, Bitcoin's gone. Bitcoin's just done. The price action on Bitcoin is just crazy, and I love it. I hope it never changes. I know, if we do go into this bear market, which signs do kind of lead that we are, that I hope that the trading is still as good as it was during the bull run. Because there was some great trades. There was great trades on both sides. It didn't matter what side you play. There was great trades on both sides. Now, this video is probably going to be long. We're about 26 already, and I still got lots of stuff to look at. So now we're going to look at the Dow, and I've already posted, I think for the Dow and S&P, I already put my dreary, gloom, doom spots. I don't know if I saved it now. Oh, I did save it. Wow, look at me. So for the Dow, this is my doom, gloom spots, and the weekly still looks really bad. The weekly still looks terrible. Oh my. That looks so bad. It's not as bad as what it was up here, which it didn't really give us that great of a reaction, but we were in a bull run. So, clearly it didn't work out as well. It works out a lot better with Bitcoin and very volatile stocks, assets, whatever it may be, crypto. It's a little slower when it comes to stocks, traditional, index of stocks. It doesn't quite pan out like it should, and that might need to be something where I make an adjustment to how it curves and how it creates everything. But the bear signals are pretty spot on, right? We had a bear signal there and we dropped down. This was a bottom indicator right here. The star is a bottom indicator, and we pretty much, after a week later, we bottomed out and then we went back up. So, but even though this weekly doesn't work as well for index, I'm still playing it as such, and it's pointing down. So my doom and gloom scenario for the Dow is down here around 36, 35. And I'm gonna hold myself accountable. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, and I'll say that. you know, none of us are perfect analyzing charts. But I had a few in the group who wanted to see, you know, traditional markets, where my doom and gloom is, and like what my thought process of that was. So now pulling down to the daily, let's check out the daily here. I got so much energy. I've been doing the Peloton a lot more. I've been feeling great, feeling good, eating right. It's great. It's something that I've kind of laxed, and I'm back on it. So, you know, Crypto Stud is coming back. Daily is looking pretty darn nice. I'm not gonna lie. It's forming up pretty nice. So I could see us getting somewhat of a bounce back. Yeah, all these time frames are looking pretty darn good. I would like to see them a bit lower though, and that might be something where they slowly come back down a bit more before we do get the bottom out signal. But this is looking pretty nice. I mean, these time frames are looking pretty nice. Check out the 2 hour. Kind of want to see what weekly P is. Wow, weekly P is all the way up there. So these lower time frames don't look good at all still. Just because of where these are, it's difficult. I would like them to be down here. I would like Juxtapost to be down here more so. So, you know, with that, I think that there's a temporary bounce, but overall bearish with that. I just don't see anything that's good. We are getting a swing fail pattern over here though, but I just don't see anything that looks good with this. Also don't see any like great order blocks either. Let's see, let's go to 45 minutes, see. Yeah, I just, you know, 39's looking really good. Whoops, of course I moved it. 39's looking really good. 38, 37's looking really good. This just everything below us looks really good. So maybe a temporary, you know, bounce, kind of reset those medium time frame jux, and then, you know, continue the dump. So last time we had a green, well, last time we had that many green was here, which we had a really nice bounce. That was a very nice bounce. Had green, took a little bit of time, and then we had a bounce. So it wasn't, you know, it didn't happen overnight. So I do see us kind of the same concept. You know, we'll have a temporary bounce. It's not probably going to be as aggressive as that one was. That was a miss of the bull run. But to some extent, it might be pretty nice for us. We might get something out of it. Basically, something out of it to short if you need to, right? All right, let's look at S&P. I do have NASDAQ here too, but I don't have a doom gloom scenario, I don't think, for it. So we'll have to create that while we're here. Let me save this chart real quick. Weekly. Yeah, so here's my doom gloom scenario for S&P, which ironically, I bought my SPX fund, which is just it's like a fund, SPX fund of the price going up. And then I also get dividends from it as well. So as price goes up, you know, I'm making some money off of it, and then I'm also making dividends off it going up as well. So I'm still in that position. I'm still holding it. I'm basically waiting for it to come under my entry before I start adding anything more. You know, doom and gloom to see it down here would be great. But, you know, I'm trying to be somewhat realistic. And I'm sure some of y'all saw this in the past. This is that was a big boy entry for me, and it's been a good run. I hadn't taken any profits. This is it's a long haul. 10 years from now, hopefully I see this and it's the S&P is all the way up here somewhere, right? And I'm still making money on S&P going up, and I'm still making money on the dividends from it. It's wonderful. If anybody wants to know what exactly that fund is, DM me, reach out to me in the group, the trading group, and I'll tell you. I'd be more than happy to tell you it. It's been nice. I've loved it. The dividends been really nice. I've been putting into other things, kind of just reinvesting or whatever. I hadn't been reinvesting too much recently because I have been waiting for the drop, but it's been kind of just sitting in cash. It's been nice. But most of the time I reinvest into other stocks that I like. So yeah. So the doom and gloom scenario for S&P would be pretty much down here. This would be a nice swing fail area as well on this pretty much temporary bounce area. Old resistance. Had some old resistance there. S&P just looks so nice. It really does. It just looks so great. Very bullish chart. I just hope, you know, we're not coming down here. Oh man, about like 1800 or so. Be crazy. It's crazy how much growth we've had over the past few years, and it just doesn't, you know, when you look at this compared to Bitcoin, it doesn't look like it's a lot, but for terms of the stock market, this is great. It's been a massive run. It's been very nice. So nonetheless, my doom and gloom scenario, you see it. Weekly looks really bad. Still, weekly looks terrible. Daily looks nice though. See, the problem is these lower time frames don't really have much juice in them. 4 hour look pretty good. 2 hour looks really good. Or 4 hour looks really good. Let's see the 2 hour. 2 hour looks pretty good too, actually. These are all looking, the lower time frames are looking pretty good. Medium time frame, not so much. You know, I think we're due for a bounce. I'm going to be bullish for the time being. Although the 10 hour, I don't like. The 12 hour, I kind of like. I would have rather have seen hearts and a bottom out signal here and possibly volatility exhausted at that level more so. But it's starting to look okay. Day looks pretty darn good. Volatility is exhausted on the day right here, as you can see. I do need to clean up some of this area, this code in here in this area. But so for now, we're going to go on the 2 hour and we're going to say that this is bullish for the time being. And we're going to leave it at that, right? But you do know my doom gloom scenario. We get some really bad news. I expect us to go down to that area pretty darn quick. But for the time being, we're being realistic. We're looking at the charts, and this is what we see for the charts, right? All right, NASDAQ. So NASDAQ has gotten beaten. I would say the doom and gloom scenario for NASDAQ would probably be... I could see this. I kind of like this area right here. Kind of my spot. Feels pretty good right there. So weekly looks really bad for NASDAQ. I mean, all these traditional markets, they look all pretty bad. Daily starting to look pretty darn good. Not as good as S&P though. 12 hour starting to look pretty good. 10 hour, I don't like 10 hour. I don't like 8 hour. 6 hours okay. 4 hours looking pretty good. 2 hours looking nice. I have bullish divergence forming right now. Possibly confirmed tomorrow. And 1 hour, it's okay. Possibly temporary, you know, drop, and then we come back. So I'm gonna just go with bullish on this one too. Well, let's go to the 2 hour. So, with the concept of, you know, these traditional markets kind of having somewhat of a bounce back, some of a bounce back play, let's take that in consideration when we're moving over to Bitcoin, right? So now let's look at Bitcoin. So, we've been working on this chart since I started YouTube. It's a mess. It is a mess. If you remember, I had a bunch of videos in this area. I called this top right here. I actually put this on the chart before price even was in this area. So I have a past video there. You know, you can find it, you can look for it. We wicked right into it. I opened up a short 108 ish area based on that box that I wanted right there. That was where I needed to be. That was the position I was taking. I took it, and I've been riding it ever since. I went hiatus for about a month and a half on YouTube. I knew what I was doing. It was done. It's a done deal. Bitcoin was doomed. It has been doomed. But here's the thing. As quick as price goes up, as quick as price goes down, it can go right back up just as quick. Now, with that being said, it is by far crazy to see something like this. If I could find the right tool, maybe that was the right tool. Brush. Yeah, we'll give this a go. Seeing this right here, and then followed by this right here, absolutely miserable. That's not good. That is not good. That's not good in any type of stock. Doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin. Doesn't matter if it's the dollar. Never good to see something like that. So that justified me holding my position even longer, especially when we opened up here and we slowly came right back down. Seeing that right there, ugh, it's ugly. Ugly. So with that, I surely hope that our 73K area did not get front ran. I'd be very upset if that happened, right? But with that being said, weekly is still looking terrible. It's looking really bad. You know, you could clearly see it. Now, there is one hope for the weekly, and that is coming into this neutral zone right here. So the last time we came into that neutral zone, we turned back around. You know, after a while, we turned back around. We went right back up. Last time we went in that neutral zone, we turned right back up. And we went right back up, right? Let me just go ahead and put this right here just to make it a little darker for me. So, how about this time? We did not. We went straight down. That confirmed the bear market, right? Same here, though. We did come back up. Took a little bit. It was a little bit behind. Had some chop. Kind of reset the indicators, you know, kind of flatline everything. And then we made another test of the high, right? So, past performance does not make future performance, right? But if we were to say that this was to turn down over here, we start chopping around here, right? We chop around a little bit right here. Maybe get that liquidity low. Come back up. And then hit for the skies again, right? But this is very difficult to say because no top level has been taken out. So from somebody looking at this, this is bearish, right? Any price rise is shorted. Why would somebody buy that? Food for thought on that. So now we do have the weekly showing signs of bottoming out, though. Although we had a top out signal and then we had a bottom out signal. And the bottom out signal just formed last week. So we have about a week this next week. So the last time that this bottom out signal formed, let's see, have we had a we have not had a bottom out signal. We've had two top out signals. The last time we had a top out signal, pretty on par with that. Last time we had a top out signal, we had a little bit of a pullback. That was a miss of a bear market. Price action was just slow, right? And then, you know, we have this top out icon right here. And of course, as you see, price did go down on that top out signal. So with that being said, the weekly is still looking bearish. I don't really, you know, I feel like the 73K is my doom and gloom for this. I am putting a whole bunch of doom and glooms for everything that I'm talking about. But I must say, for some reason, we had some crazy scenario and we had a doom and gloom event. Here's the area for Bitcoin. That right there will be a life-changing position to take. Now, I still do have a 54k long open at the bottom. And I did not take nearly the profits I wanted to take. I took some. I took enough to be able to confidently short heavy in the opposite direction and expect a greater outcome for my short position, right? But at some point, something has to give. You know, I either have to take profits on my long or take profits on my short. I'd rather take profits on my short than the long. But for now, we sit in both. Once we get to 73k, if we have pretty good price reaction in that area, I'll be looking to add more to my 54k long. And then hopefully this 54k long can become something greater. 115, 120, 130, 140. However, I can't be bullish with you like I was last time. I was bullish in this area. This whole entire time I was bullish. I can't do that now. Things have changed. S&P has broke through levels, you know, generic indicator levels. The Dow has broke through generic indicator levels. NASDAQ has broke through generic indicator levels. Stocks out there, Tesla, Nvidia, they're falling. They're falling apart. So I cannot confidently say that this does bounce. If it does get to 73k like we want, I cannot confidently say that we will have a massive bull run off of 73. Maybe we do though. And the only way to find that out is if levels are taken out. You get 73, you pass 75, you pass 78, you pass 80, you pass 85, you pass 90, you pass 100. 100 is, 100 is, I'm sure a lot of people who missed their boat trying to short recently wanted 100. And I know a lot of bears who are waiting for that 100. So, weekly still has down pressure on us. The daily is starting to actually look really good. I kind of don't like where it is though. I'd like it to be over here. But we did have a nice little bounce from that last time, as you can see. So not terrible there. We do have bullish divergence that's kind of playing out a little bit right now. It's kind of weak. 12-hour doesn't look really good. It's kind of crazy to see how we've had such a small bounce and juxtapost has pretty much overextended almost on all these higher time frame levels. So no way to not short this. I mean, any rise is feasible to take. Lick your chops and take a short position and go lower. I see really nothing bullish, and that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. And also what's very unfortunate is the fact that 2-hour actually looks good though. Some hope for the 2-hour, right? We still have not hit the weekly P. So for me, even though we're running out of days, I would like to see the weekly P taken out. So I'm temporary bullish for the time being to see the weekly P tagged. Now, does that happen? It's tough. It's going to be tough sledding right now. And this price action is bearish price action. Very choppy, very sluggish, very slow. It doesn't look promising. It does not. So with that, let's go ahead and look at high block. I'm going to go ahead and cue these back up real quick. Now, I did see that we do have on this kind of in this range right here, which would be 84, 85, which would line up with our pivot at 85, our pivot point at 85. So, if we do get somewhat of a rise, I would like to see 85 weekly P, I think would be feasible, right? Taking a bit of time. I did queue these up a bit later, but it's an hour and so later, so we want some fresh data. Shorts are a little heavy, not really much. I do see this huge liquidity profiles on the top side, right where 85, 85, 84, 85, 84, 500, 85, 5-ish area. So, you know, let's see if we can test that area. Let's take it to the highs, see what we get out of that, right? And then same concept. Still a lot of liquidity right up here. So I would like to see that taken out. That'd be great to see taken out. And then let's check out XO. Let's see if XO gives us any warrant to us going a little higher. No, we don't have a Dalton today. Let's check out. Let's go to 2 hours. So open interest is coming down, price is rising. That's kind of bearish. I don't really like seeing that. Shorts are closing out though in this area, so that's somewhat hopeful for the bulls. So, I might hurt myself doing this, but I'm gonna be bullish till 85. See if we get that. See what happens, right? Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's good to be back. Until next time. Peace.